snag the tickets without the stress. Use promo code CFBX on your first purchase to save $20. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code CFBX. We're brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play the Underdog Pick'em in college or NFL. Win up to 20x in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And finally, we're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, the 21st of September, and we are here to handicap as much as we can on a funny-looking card for Friday, September the 22nd. Joining me is Mr. Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Malcolm? Good to be with you. We cashed on the Brewers. We got them at plus money yesterday, so yeah, off to a good start. And got a few games to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, September's sort of been a bit of a learning month here on the show for me, and a bit of a different month as well. That we've been concentrating on the bigger games, the games that mean something. We've been giving the show a little bit more room to breathe, and yeah, myself and Lonte had a really nice show last night. I was happy with how we handicapped things. There was a lot of sense talked. We meandered a little bit, but yeah, the main lean, not even a lean, sorry, the main play was that the Brewers were just too big a price against the Cardinals, who had the better pitcher and you had the better team, and they were at plus 100. I actually backed them tonight just at minus 110, and they closed the favourites. And we got the Lizard King Miles Mikolas well and truly beat. So yeah, that was a nice bit of work. Lonte doubled them up. He parlayed them with the Tampa Bay Rays, who got it done late. They walked it off, didn't they? Yeah. Against the LA Angels. My play there was the first 500 behind a decent start for Griffin Canyon.
It's going to be tough next year not being able to fade Mike Mikolas or Miles Mikolas. You know, he's not a good pitcher.
He'll be around somewhere. He'll get a game for the Athletics or something, definitely.
By the way, off topic real quick, but it just popped in my head. How far are you from China White Newcastle, like Friendlick Street?
What street?
It's Fenkle, Fenlick.
Okay, yeah. I could probably about a mile, maybe. Why?
Oh, there's a boxing match this Saturday, the Misfits boxing. It's in Newcastle upon Tyne. I said, I gotta let my buddy Mal know about this. He has to go over there.
Yeah, China White's just a nightclub. Yeah. So quite a famous old nightclub. So yeah, they're obviously clearing out a bit of space on the dance floor and sticking a boxing ring up there for the night. But I didn't know that at all. That's good.
Yeah. Is that where all the Newcastle players party after they win?
Yeah. There's be a fair few of them. There's a great nightlife in Newcastle, Dylan. You would absolutely love it. It's right up your street.
I love it.
Who's in the chat? Trev's on a right good streak. We haven't been counting how many nights running Trev's been first in, but he's this could be the streak of the season for Trev. He's doing the San Diego Padres and putting a run together at the end. Matthew is a year older. Matthew's here. Oh, look, Moonaf's turned up. Oh. Moonaf. I don't know what's wrong with Moonaf this week, Dylan. He's been in a terrible, terrible mood. I don't know if it's the baby. I don't know if he's losing.
I was on here with him on Tuesday. You got to cut him some slack. He's not feeling good. He's sleep deprived. He caught a little cold. Got to give Moonaf the benefit of the doubt, all right?
Well, if that's the case, just leave everyone alone. Go back to your little bedroom. I don't know why he's taking it out on us. If he's got sand in his vagina, it's not our problem. Absolutely ridiculous.
I just want everyone to know the opinions of Malcolm don't reflect mine.
Oh, shut up, he does. That's not what he DMs me, Moona. So there you go. This card, we have not got many prices on the board is the problem we've got at the minute. It's kind of the typical, the Thursday getaway day problem. But normally there's more days ball on the Thursday to get into the Friday. But there was only 2 days ball games today at all. So there's not much going on. We'll try our best. Dylan normally makes his own lines, so we can give you a little bit of a clue about what we're thinking. And I've made some nice little picks, Dylan. So we will get started with there's one little days ball game tomorrow, which is the Colorado Rockies and the Chicago Cubs, and that's a 2:20 Eastern first pitch. It is Noah Davis who's going to take the ball for the Rockies, and the Cubs are TBD. Now, I'm not sure. I've seen Kyle Hendricks slated for both games. Obviously, he's not going to pitch both games for Thursday and Friday. We handicapped Hendricks on the show last night, so maybe there's a possibility he's getting pushed back if something else is happening. But other than that, so yeah, obviously, if we don't know, the Cubs don't know. But the match is priced up. The Rockies are plus 164, with the Cubs at minus 198, and a total of 8.5. Dylan, have you seen a picture for the Cubs at all?
Yeah, so I'm looking at MLB.com right now, and it says TBD, but I saw Jameson Taillon, and that's who I handicap. So if that is
that would make sense with the prices. That would make the lines looks about right, I would say, in that situation.
Yeah,
I looked at Noah Davis for the Cubs. He appears for the Rockies. So he appears just to be wildly overmatched at the moment. They've just, it's kind of into the lion's den a little bit for Noah Davis. He's 0-2. He has a 12.64 ERA. Just looking at the match scores from the games. The last one they lost 11-10. So they actually gave him some run support.
I love how you're calling them matches.
Matches, yeah. Sorry, it's the Premier League hangover from doing the show last night. So they lost 11-10. They then lost his previous 25-1, then 8-6, and then 11-4. So that's a lot of running. 36, 44, 55 runs in his last 4 games. Wallop, that's outstanding. Colorado have lost and been losing quite comfortably as well recently. Jameson Taillon's all right, isn't he? Pretty much. He'll probably do enough to win here. His last 2 home starts have been excellent. His ERA at home is 5. But if you remember back to the very start of the season, he was a bit of a laughing stock, really. He was one of the worst pitchers in baseball for a little while. His last 2 home starts, he pitched 6 innings, 1 earned run against the Brewers, and 6 scoreless against the D-backs. So that performance, coupled with what we expect from Noah Davis and the Rockies, it's a really, really obvious and a really boring Chicago Cubs run line to them.
Yeah, so for the Cubs, I made them over a $2 favorite with Jameson Taillon on the mound, but they're not really playing the best baseball right now. They lost 4 of their last 5 games, and they might be playing themselves out of the playoffs as of right now. What do we have? 10, 11 games left, depending on the team you root for, but they got to start winning games. I do think this is a good series for them to get back on track, especially against Noah Davis. You outlined the numbers. He's just not a good pitcher at all. And, I'm not saying Jameson Taillon's much better, but I think he'll want to pitch much better in this game. Rockies did beat him in his last spot, so low revenge factor for him and the Cubs. But I'm looking at the total right now, and it's sitting at 8.5, and that just seems extremely low in Chicago. You have winds blowing out 7 miles, not too much, but 7 miles an hour towards center field. So I set my total. If these 2 pitchers are going, Noah Davis and Jameson Taillon, I set my total at 9.8. So I got to go over. Just look at the numbers that Noah Davis has been involved in, just absolute shootouts. So I got to take the over here. And I agree with the run line as well, especially if you're able to get plus money with the Cubs.
Yeah, well, the lowest total in that game log is 14.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you've got a 15, a 21, and a 26. So maybe a little ladder. I did take the Cubs. The Cubs have actually not done me many favours this week. I think Steele got turned over, didn't he, last night?
Yeah, he did.
In a game where Pittsburgh just haven't been able to beat the Cubs ever this season. And the minute after. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so the Cubs have cost me a little bit, so we'll see. Right, okay. We will move on to a 6:40 Eastern first pitch is the Pittsburgh Pirates at the Cincinnati Reds. Pittsburgh officially TBD. I believe it's Luis Ortiz and left-handed pitcher Andrew Abbott will go for Cincinnati. Dylan, any rudimentary lines on this one for us?
Yeah, so if these are two, that's the two I got, Luis Ortiz and Andrew Abbott. I made the Reds a -160 favorite. -1.5 is at +115. Pirates +160. +1.5 is at -115. I set my total at 9.4.
Sometimes, like, again, the baseball constantly a learning thing for me. But I quite like handicapping games without the prices because you can be influenced. Sometimes you can sort of a little bit lazy to draw yourself to that. I've talked about getting drawn to that -130, -140 range when I don't feel confident, just because I'm trying to steal a win, and you think that's a reasonable price. This game, I thought I would handicap or make my pick differently based on the prices. And my picks now with these prices, +160, will be Pittsburgh. Ortiz is 4-5 with a 4.85 ERA, but he hasn't been terrible. And his last two road starts have actually been rather good. He's pitched 10 1/3 and only given up 2 earned runs. The totals are very middling in his games, 9-7, 6, 9-10. So I'm struggling to find a pattern. But Pittsburgh are hitting better this month. They're hitting 254 in September and they're hitting 245 against left-handed pitching. So they should be competitive. Andrew Abbott has gone really well this season. He's 8-4, 3.68 ERA. He's another pitcher. There's quite a few pitchers in the last week, these rookies particularly, that to me are starting to look a little bit tired. I think we mentioned it about Hunter Brown the other day. I can't really remember what other some other names have popped out. But Andrew Abbott looks in that bracket to me. 6.33 ERA in his last 5. He's walking a load of batters. So yeah, 2 average profiles. Pittsburgh is still competing. They've got a fun lineup. They scored, a ton of runs. They scored 13 last night against the Cubs. So at these prices, I said if Cincinnati were backable, I would probably take them. At +160, I'll 100% take Pittsburgh here, Dylan.
Yeah, if we could get a +160, I'd be on the Pirates as well. Like you mentioned, their bats have woken up. They scored 13 runs yesterday. My sister was at the game at Wrigley,
really?
sitting at the bleachers. When they hit the grand slam, it went right by her. I said, you got to lay out for that. You look alive, woman. Like, what are we doing here? But no, she just stood in her seat. But no, I agree. I think Luis Ortiz has been very serviceable, especially on the road. And one of those games, he only let up 1 run, and it was against the Braves. He didn't get the run support, but he pitched pretty well, I thought. One was against the Royals, and his third start on the road was his only start in July against the Dodgers. Yeah, he let up 6 runs, but they still won the game. So he does tend to get a little more run support than other pitchers. But you're right. I think Andrew Abbott, he's good. But you mentioned it. That was one of my key notes is the walks. The walks are really an issue for him, 3 or more in the past 5 games. So the Pirates, they're very disciplined at the plate. They're 10th in the league in walks. So they're going to take some walks tomorrow against Abbott. Maybe you want to look towards an over walk prop with Andrew Abbott. But yeah, if we're able to get a +160 or better, I would take the Pirates. And last 5 games between these two, Pirates have played them very close. They've won 3 of the 5, and the only one or the 2 that they lost, one was 6-5, and the other was 9-2, where they kind of got blown out. But they're playing the Reds pretty tight right now. So I actually take a flyer on the Pirates as well.
Okay, team ride on the Pittsburgh as an underdog. We move on after I tell you about DraftKings. Keeping us in on the NFL action with great offers every single game day. New customers bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. That's an incredible offer. DraftKings doesn't stop there, though. They've got offers for all customers. Existing customers take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. I think the play of the weekend is Tennessee. Dylan, are you agreeing with the Titans?
Yeah, I do like it.
Okay, there we go. I tell you what, I'm showing growth and development at this NFL stuff. Football's more fun when you're in on the action. So download the app, sign up with the code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL with the code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Game Time, one of our favourite sponsors here on the show, and taking the stress out of buying tickets for whatever it is you want to go and see. You want to see some sport, music, comedy, theatre. Buying tickets shouldn't be stressful in Game Time. But putting a stop to all that, they have things like flash sales, last-minute deals, and the Game Time guarantee is an absolute beauty. If you find seats in the same section in row for less, Game Time credit you 110% of the difference. So you can get involved looking forward to the event you're going to see rather than mucking about getting your tickets. The thing to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CFBX. You can get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Okay, next up, we'll have a look at the 6:40 Eastern first pitch between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays. This isn't priced up, and I've seen pitches all day. Chris Bassett for Toronto, and Tyler Glasnow goes for the Tampa Bay Rays. Dylan, have you got any prices, and what's your handicap?
Okay, I'm looking at lines just popped up as we're talking. Right now, Blue Jays are plus 134 on the road, minus 148 at home. The over-under is at 7.
So, ooh, okay.
Yeah, very slow. Based on, I made the Rays a minus 155 favorite, so minus 148. I would take Glasnow on the mound. I even see some 8. So I'm seeing DraftKings at 7, FanDuel, no free shout outs to 7.5. So they're shop around, but the totals are scattered. So like I said, I set my total at an 8 at a even 8. So I just think the Rays, I like them here. I just think they need to play a little more consistently. They're only 2.5 games out of that lead to win the AL East behind the Orioles. But the Blue Jays, they're playing really well. They've won 5 in a row, but the problem is I just can't trust Bassett on the road. He didn't have a good start against the Rays earlier in the year, and Glasnow, he has been lights out at home for this Rays team. So, I think the Rays, they bounced back here. They lost last night to the Anaheim Angels. Oh, no, they won, but they still lost. They only took 2 or 3 from the Angels. So I think they get back here. I think they need to win this game to stay relevant. So I think they get here. Anything under a minus 150, like I said, I'd probably be on the Rays here. But the total seems a little short, I feel like, at 7.
Yeah, that's 100% my reading of it too, Dylan. My pick's going to be the over. It's hard to pick a side here because both teams are still going for it. This is probably, in fact, well, yeah, there's one other game, but this is certainly the game of the night here. There's no real patterns to Chris Bassett's form. It was hard to pin him down. But Glasnow has given up runs lately. Both offenses are going okay. The Blue Jays sort of owned the Yankees a little bit. The Blue Jays were a great bet the last few nights.
Oh, yeah. Just fade the Yankees.
Yeah, exactly. We had that little spell, and I'm not often right, but I did talk about the law of diminishing returns on those Yankees kids, and it just came to pass. They had a little bump when they came up. They won 4 or 5 games, and after that, and last night was, well, again, they were minus 110. They won the game 6-1 the night before. They won, I think, 7-1 last night. Just held them at arm's length. The Tampa Bay Rays walked one off tonight, but they weren't hugely convincing. Vladdy having his MRI scan today, I think, for the Blue Jays. He's going to be a big loss. But yeah, both offenses going okay in both pitches that I'm not convinced about. So I'm seeing that 7 come out. I'm absolutely delighted with that. And I will take the over 7. We go to a 6:40 Eastern. We'll have a look at, which is the Milwaukee Brewers and the Miami Marlins. Corbin Burns for the Brewers, and for the Fish is officially TBD. So the same 2 questions for you, Dylan. What lines do you think we'll see, and how were you going to handicap it?
Yeah, so Corbin Burns is scheduled for the Brewers, and right now I saw Johnny Cueto for the
Okay.
fish. I made the Brewers a -150 favorite, -1.5, +115, +150 for the Brewers, +1.5 is at -115. Yeah, so and for my total, I made it 8.3. I'm kind of out on the Marlins right now. I honestly don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I don't trust them. Another team that's been very inconsistent, especially in the second half of the season. And the Brewers are playing really well. They just swept the Cardinals. They won again today, 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they're getting hot at the right time. This is not, you don't want to play teams that are getting hot in the end of September, especially going into the playoffs. And the Marlins, just, like I said, they're just too inconsistent for my liking. Johnny Cueto, do we really need to say anything? He's just bad. Marlins, they've lost 8 of his 11 starts this season. He's complete fade mode for me. So anything under a -150, I think we're going to get really good value here with the Brewers. So yeah, anything under a -150, and if we get plus money on the run line, I'll take them as well.
Yeah, the Corbin Burns is kind of alternating between good and bad starts. Yeah, but I watched the Brewers tonight. It's nice. Sometimes, as much as you look at the numbers and the stats, you do have to lay eyes on a team and just to kind of get a feeling, a sense of what they're doing. And the Brewers are sort of piecing together things quite nicely. They don't hit many home runs. They've hit, maybe 180 something. It might be 159. Anyway, they don't hit many home runs, but they've put themselves in a position now where they can start manufacturing runs. Now, yeah, you've got to hit dingers in the postseason. But they've got quite a lot of versatility in the team. They have players like Mark Canhar come across. The 2 players who hit homers for them last night, which I think was Tyrone Taylor, hit the multi-homer. The 2 players who hit homers for them last night didn't start tonight. So they've got a little bit of a deeper bench. And like I said, they're quite a versatile team. Mark Canhar's made a difference. Santana's made a difference. So yeah, they'll be okay. And with the pitching they've got, they're going to be a little bit dangerous. And I don't buy into Miami still. I mean, they finished that series with the Mets last night. They've gone 3-7 against the Mets this season, which for a playoff team, they had to do better, really. Jake Berger got injured. He's been a big part of what they're going to do. And they are first in 1-run games. Now, you either take that as a positive, which means are they clutch, or do they have nerves of steel, or if they've been a little bit lucky, if they come down on the right side. It depends on your point of view of that. They're 31-13 in 1-run games. So yeah, I don't fully buy in. But I quite enjoyed watching the Brewers tonight. They're rolling. I quite like what they're putting together. I'm going to give them a little chance. And this is your classic unit and a half play. And Johnny Cueto owes me from last Friday against the Braves. No, I think it was the champagne fade got to me. I kind of went all in on the Braves to try and build my pot up for Premier League Saturday and completely fucked it. So that's Johnny Cueto's fault. So I'll get my money back tomorrow on the Milwaukee Brewers. Next, we will go to a 7:05 Eastern first pitch. It's the New York Mets at the Philadelphia Phillies. Tyler McGill for the Mets and Taijuan Walker for Philadelphia. The Mets are plus 150. The Phillies are minus 162. The total is 9, Dylan.
You see plus 150 for the Mets?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, what you
I might. No, I see plus 136 out there. So, I only made the Phillies a minus 155 favorite. I see minus 162, minus 170s, and I don't want to lay that with the Phillies at home. So, I'm actually going to go with the total. I was able to get an 8.5 when the total opened up. I see 9s out there. I still like the over. I made my total 9.4. Taijuan Walker hasn't looked good in the month of September. 4 or more runs given up in his last 3 starts, and 5 of his last 6 starts have gone way over this number. So he's been in a lot of shootouts and high-scoring games. And Taylor McGill he's just not really someone I want to back on the road. Mets are actually playing a little decently recently, so they're being able to score some runs, and so have the Phillies do have a really good lineup. The over 7-3 in the Phillies last 10 games. So I really think with Citizen Bank Park, it's a hitter's ballpark. You got winds blowing out, let's just say one good lineup, one decent lineup in the Mets. I think we see some runs tomorrow, so I'm going to go over here.
Right. I know we're not very good at this, Dylan. If I ask you if you're going to understand a reference, you always say no. Do you know who Dr. Seuss is?
Dr. Seuss, absolutely.
Oh, fuck me, the first time ever. It's just you went a little bit cat in the hat then when you said they'd be playing decently recently. I really quite liked it.
Green eggs and ham. I know it all. Come on, mate.
I just didn't know if you'd get the reference because
I wasn't born on Mars. Jesus.
So far this season, you are 0-24 at understanding references.
Now.
Yeah, 1-25. You're only as good as your last reference, Dylan. And you, my friend, are on a streak. I'm seeing the Mets best price now is plus 145. And that's at Bet365, which is handy for me. Well, if I wanted to back them. My pick here is the over. 9's a little bit too low. Tyler McGill is fairly steady. You get 5 innings out of him. He's okay. Walker's been awful his last 5. Really, really bad. But the Phillies are going along. The Phillies are fun. Mets might join in a little bit. I think we can get over 9 here. That's a price of minus 108. Let us move on after I've told you about Underdog Fantasy. Great way to play alongside your favourite football teams on a Sunday. Win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. Total of $2 million in prizes all season long. That's 100,000 in prizes. 10K to 10 people this week. New sweepstakes every week of the NFL season. This week's high or lower is Tyreek Hill receiving yards. That's at 91.5. So higher or lower, even if you're wrong, you've got a chance to win 10K. Watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SGPN. If you can detect a little giggling, Robert, I'm trying to do these ad reads sensibly when Matthew's just reminded me that Dylan didn't know what a fig was. And it's just made me
talking about it like a fig Newton.
We're not having this conversation again, Dylan. Do you remember this conversation?
Low key, not really. I remember you guys laughing at me, but the hell with it.
That's just a really funny thing for Matthew to remember. All the shit we've talked about in the last 6 months, Matthew's dragging out the fig conversation, and it's made me giggle.
The hell with it.
To hell with it. Hall of Fame bets. That was a Hall of Fame conversation, Dylan. Hall of Fame bets help you win bigger and better and smarter this NFL season. The sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. You can research NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer with historical stats and data. Stick any parlay into the Hall of Fame bets revolutionary parlay optimizer, and you'll get things like hit rates broken down by leg, expected probabilities. You can sort players into hit rate for bets. So, outstanding tool. 30,000 users using Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use the code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets.
You see what you did? Now look at the comment section. Now everyone's talking about the fig tree.
Oh, Matthew's got a fig tree. I'm clearing right, we're just going to go off topic here. I'm clearing a little section in my back garden here that I'm going to try and plant some little fruit trees and things. So I was thinking an olive tree. Now I'm in the north of England. It's pretty grim. It's not a very sunny place. So I think a fig tree might be a bit ambitious. But I might get a little olive tree going. We'll see how that goes. That could be
real quick. What? I was listening to the Premier League podcast, and I'm driving in New York City. Just imagine me. I'm driving in New York City, and you're talking to Barry about you had some downtime in the garden, and while your daughter's just yelling out the window, making fun of you, I was in tears. That made my day.
I've got no respect around here. I was in the garden. She was hanging out of my bedroom window shouting, "Go on, fat boy," is what was going on. Fucking hell. Absolutely no respect at all. Right. I'm seeing more lines pop up as the show goes along here. We're doing things on the fly, which is good. We can handicap things like the 7:05 Eastern first pitch between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees, where we have Brandon Fart going for Arizona And it is Carlos Rodon, left-handed pitcher, going for the Yankees. That's new. I saw Randy Vasquez earlier on. Plus 136 on the D-backs, minus 162 for the Yankees. I haven't seen a total. Let's have a little check of that. Total is 8. Brandon Pfaadt on the season is 2-7. He has a 5.86 ERA. Still a mixed bag. Still think we're still waiting for him to sort of break out a little bit. And he actually had a good start last time against the Chicago Cubs. Do you trust that going forward? It's hard to tell. However, if there's a team to do it against, it's this New York Yankees team who can't hit. They score 1 run every night. And they had 1 hit. Was it last night or the night before? They had 1 hit right down to the death against Barria. Sorry?
I think it was last night, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty grim. And the fans actually didn't seem thrilled. I did very much enjoy Aaron Boone getting thrown out last night. That was quite a lot of fun. And it was so obviously going to happen as well. The umpire had a big zone, a very low zone, in fact. It was kind of ankle height. And he called about 4 consecutive strikes right down there. And because he was getting the calls, Barrios just kept going down there. Was it Gosman, actually? Gosman just kept going down there and getting the calls. And you could see Boone was getting more and more agitated. And then eventually blew his stack at him. Did you see Phil Cuzzy with the fuck you ejection the other night, Dylan, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how they get away with it. I don't know which team it was, but obviously a player had said, fuck you. And he just looked and he went, fuck me, fuck you, and threw him out. It's brilliant. Great. That's another T-shirt we should have. Fuck me, fuck you. Carlos Rodon he's kind of battling back a little bit. He's trying to piece it together. 3-6 on the year, 5.90 ERA. Did okay at Pittsburgh last time, but they lost 3-2. They don't score any runs. Did okay the time before at Boston, and they won that 4-1. The time before, they lost at Detroit, having only scored 3 runs. There's a pattern here. I thought K-props might be live. New York strike out a lot at the moment. Brandon Pfaadt can strike a few batters out. If it's over maybe 5, but Arizona have won 5 in a row. They've scored 6 runs in each of those games. And I just, I think you have to take Arizona's momentum. Even behind Pfaadt, he was a little bit unreliable. I think you have to take Arizona plus 136 of these 2 picks, Dylan.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. I had to mute myself because I keep laughing at the far. I know it's been 6 months, but it's funny. I agree, though. I think you got to take the Diamondbacks on their momentum. I only set the Yankees at a minus 125 favorite, so getting plus 136. And you're right, Carlos Rodon, he's trying to piece it together. I didn't think his last start was all that bad, but if you look at home, he didn't even go 4 innings in his last start at home against the Tigers. They lost 10-3, gave up 7 runs. They've actually lost his last 4 starts at Yankee Stadium to the Tigers, the Washington Nationals, the Astros, and the Rays. So, I mean, I just can't back Carlos Rodon right now. And Brandon Pfaadt, like you said, like he did have a good outing against not a very good, but a decent team in the Cubs. So, I got to carry the momentum. I think they have the hotter bats. They scored 1 run in back-to-back games, the Yankees. So I think the Diamondbacks team total. I think the Diamondbacks at plus 136. And I also like the over. You said it's at an 8. I set my total at 9.4 if it is these 2 pitchers. So I kind of like the team total for Arizona. I'm going to be all over the Snakes here tomorrow. I just don't. I think we got to continue to fade the Yankees.
I like this. Is it?
I also want to say we got to differentiate teams that are playing for something and teams that aren't. Yankees are done. Arizona is actually still fighting for something, you know?
Yeah, there's an air of confidence around these picks tonight. It's quite unsettling, Dylan. But yeah, I'm all for it. We will move across to. Sorry, I just in the chat now talking about
this whole thing got derailed. Fat boy, fucking figs, Jesus.
There's fruit chat, there's fart chat, and there's fat chat. We've got the 3F scored on it in the chat at the minute. We could say that since we've stopped handicapping all 15 games, like a machine gun, that we've got more room just to disappear off. But at some point, we do have to get back. We'll come back to the baseball. Come on. This is a good game. 8:05 Eastern first pitch is the Seattle Mariners at the Texas Rangers. Another two teams who are going for it, like the Blue Jays and the Rays. Bryce Miller goes for Seattle, and Dane Dunning goes for Texas. It's fairly close on the books. Seattle plus 108. Texas minus 120 with a total of 9. Seattle 8-5 on the year, 3.88 ERA. That is Bryce Miller. Struggling a little bit in places. Did have a good start last time against the Dodgers. His road form's been a little bit of a worry, 4.58 ERA. And it may be a key piece of form here is that he pitched against the Rangers once this season. 2 1/3, 8 hits and 7 earned runs before he got the hook. Seattle have won 3 in a row, going along nicely. Dean Dunning is 10-6 on the year with a 3.78 ERA. But he's given up loads of everything recently. Again, before a good start at Cleveland, both these pitchers were struggling, and then both came out last time he did okay. Dunning's got a 4.27 home ERA. It just looks like a shootout to me. I think that over 9. Something about Texas, which is absolutely... a lot of their season is hinged upon what Martin Perez has done out with the bullpen for them. In the first part of the season, he was in the rotation, and actually he was okay. I quite liked him. He was in a few of my fantasy teams. He's gone into the pen, and he's just been great in long relief. He kind of just put out a fire. So if one of your starters isn't going well, they can bring Martin Perez out, and he's been great for them. Absolutely great. A great tool to have for them. A big plus. Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout, Dylan. I'm happy with over 9.
Yeah, I lean over, set my total at 9.4 in this one, but I feel like you got to take the Mariners here at this plus price. I only made the Rangers a minus 105 favorite. Earlier, I was able to grab the Mariners at plus 110, plus 108. Any plus price, I feel like them is a good bet. I'm kind of out on the Rangers right now. You know, they were able to take 2 or 3 from the Red Sox. Their bats did explode for 15 runs in their last game, but I just trust Bryce Mitchell and the Mariners and their bullpen a little more than I do Dane Dunning, who I know last outing wasn't all that bad, but he just hasn't looked good in my opinion. He's allowed 3 or more runs in 6 of his last 8 starts. Walks are also a very big issue for him. So I don't trust that bullpen. If it's a tight game, I think the Mariners will get to them. They're on a 3-game winning streak, like you said. So I do think they get the job done. I'll take the plus price here with the Mariners. A lot of dogs for me today. A lot of dogs.
Yeah, I've been jotting down my potential dog picks here in the lists. Now sitting at 3. Bear in mind we haven't covered too many games. The last game, kind of with playoff implications, although it's not a hugely crucial matchup, is the Cowboy time 10-10 Eastern first pitch between the San Francisco Giants and the LA Dodgers. Left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea for the Giants. The Dodgers are TBD. I've seen Clayton Kershaw, Dylan. So yeah, no lines and a tricky one to handicap. Did you have much on this?
Yeah, no lines, but for the Giants, I have Sean Manaea going, and for the Dodgers, I saw Gavin Stone going.
Oh, okay.
If those are the two pitchers, I made the Dodgers over a $2 favorite, but depending on the opening number for the total, I might be on the over and just fade both of these pitchers. You know, I'm not a big fan of either Stone or Manaea. Stone gives up a lot of hard contact, and 6 of his last 7 starts have all been shootouts. I don't trust Sean Manaea either on the road. The Dodgers, I think the Dodgers could light him up. They have very good lineup. Both teams have been in high-scoring affairs as well. In LA tomorrow night, the winds will be blowing out towards center field as well. So depending on the number, if we get an 8.5, I love to take the over on that. I set my total at 8.8. So probably going to go towards the over here. I'd imagine the Dodgers open up a very big favorite at home.
Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing on this. I was kind of quite happy not to have to handicap it. Sean Manaea is just incredibly meh, and so are the Giants. They're just so boring. It's incredible. So yeah, I skirted past this one. But just looking around the bottom draw of the other games, Dylan, there are 2 here that caught my eye in terms of quite fancying a bit. Now, just worth talking about the Padres a little bit. So the Padres tomorrow are at home to the Cardinals. It's Dakota Hudson against Matt Waldron. for the Padres. But they've left that charge a little bit late. They've won 7 in a row now, the Padres. And the fact that Waldron is on the mound, I think, makes the price here for the Padres, because it's not Blake Snell or what have you. The Padres have been scoring 6 runs per game in this little streak. The Cards are really bad. They had 1 hit again last night. Dakota Hudson doesn't frighten anybody off. I watched them in that game. The Brewers, I think it was 6-0 the last I saw. I don't know if it's got any runs late on. But I think at -138, the Padres are a great price to keep rolling. And like I say, it's the presence of a name that you're not familiar with makes that price. Because any other name, Seth Lugo or what have you, and the Padres would be -200 or even bigger. So yeah, I like the Padres in there at -138. Dylan, can you put me off that?
No, I actually like that. If you're able to get a -138, I love it. I made them a -150. I'm seeing -142, even -155s out there at like Caesars or Bet365. So yeah, money is probably starting to come in on the Padres. I expect them to close a very big favorite at home. They're actually playing really good baseball right now. So I agree. I think that is a short number if you could get it right now. Maybe a team total. Look towards a team total for the Padres. Dakota Hudson is not very good, in my opinion, at all. So yeah, I like that. I like that look.
Just checking the lines here. And yeah, -142. So yeah, it shortened up a little bit from the -138, but there are -155s out there. So yeah, if you want the Padres, I suggest you get in there now. And the other one is a bit of a big dog pick, Dylan, and it's not a very sensible one. I will warn you. It's a +235 about the LA Angels to win at the Minnesota Twins.
Oh, no.
No, hear me out. So we've got a little rookie on the mound for the Angels, who's called Davis Daniel, making his debut. But really, this is just a fade of the Twins in this position. Pablo Lopez is starting for them. But so Pablo Lopez has given up 5 earned runs in 2 of his last 5 starts. He hasn't been great. But just the Minnesota are just falling apart a little bit. Carlos Correa's gone to the IL. And Royce Lewis is injured. So they're 2 huge parts of this offense. And they're not a mad, stellar offense at the best of times. We've just seen the Angels. They won 1 game off the Rays. They were walked off tonight. So they're hanging around. And I think the Minnesota Twins have got issues. So I think there's worse +235 shots that I'll back during the course of the season, Dylan. That one didn't look horrible.
Yeah, no. Do you know anything about the rookie? I don't know anything about him, but for my numbers, I did make him a -190 favorite. Pablo Lopez. I'm seeing over $3 favorite. I mean, at that price, you just can't back the Twins at home at that price. So I take a flyer on him. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it at all. Like you said, Carlos Correa is on the IL. They're not playing the best baseball, I would argue, too. You got winds blowing in. I would actually take the under. I'm seeing 8.5s out there. I made my total 8.1, so I think we can see a little lower scoring game. But yeah, getting +235 with the Angels. I know I'm not. We crack around and we joke about the Angels a lot, but I mean, on pure value, I think you have to take the dog there.
So Davis Daniels pitched 3 innings earlier in the month this season, was sent back down and has come back up because Tyler Anderson's, I think Tyler Anderson's been pushed back with a knee injury. So there was talk about Daniel either going in long relief, a bulk reliever, or as an opener. But either way, I think the Angels are very much live in this. But the rest of the card, did anything catch your eye, Dylan, before we make our look in dog picks?
No, I really like today. I only had one play. It was the Brewers at +102. So like I said, I've been really honing back with football and everything. So if you want a football prop, by the way, you asked on Sunday the rush attempts for Derrick Henry got there.
Oh yeah, because the receiving yards didn't. I need someone's new in the chair actually because Scott gave me my latest NFL pick and lost. The other night, it was the interceptions on the rookie quarterback for Carolina. Is it Bryce Young, maybe?
Yeah. He's hurt actually now.
Scott is gone. He's out of the chair, and so there's room. So if you've got the bat on at the minute. So what do I need to pick tonight?
All right. Oh shit, now I'm on the hot seat. I took Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards over 79, and I also took Daniel Jones rushing yards over 37.5. I just think they're going to be design runs for Daniel Jones. No Saquon. The left tackle's hurt. Does have no weapons. So I would take that as well. Those two guys running, or Christian McCaffrey rushing and receiving. It's at like 113, but he's gotten over it in all 2 games so far. So those are my 2 plays for you if you want to make some extra cash. Giants team total under 16.5. Trevor put in. Yeah, that's one of my plays as well.
Yeah, we've got a new hand gone up in the chat. Donahue. And making a really good point, actually. The Minnesota's magic number is 1. So we'll be looking to clinch in this game against the Angels tomorrow. So, like I say, it's a speculative punt at plus 235. I just thought with Correa missing and with Royce Lewis missing, like I say, Lopez is prone to the odd blow. There's worse plus 235 shots around that I'll probably pick this season. Okay, Dylan. We did okay there. We found some nice bets when at the start of the show we were scratching around for lines, etc. So give us a lock and a dog.
Yeah, so from my lock, I'm going to go to the first game we talked about between the Rockies and Cubs. I'm seeing 8.5 as the total. I got to go over it. Like I said, I set my total at 9.8. I just think we're going to see a lot of runs between Noah Davis and Jameson Taillon. Not the 2 best pitchers you want to see out there. So expect a lot of runs. You got winds blowing out tomorrow at Wrigley as well. So I think we'll see a lot of runs there. As for my dog, I did give a few plus money plays. But I am going to take the Mariners. Mariners on the road. I don't trust Dane Dunning and that bullpen. I do think Bryce Miller is just a little better than Dane Dunning right now. Mariners, they've won 3 in a row right now. And I just think they're a little more consistent than the Rangers right now. I still don't trust them. So plus 108, plus 110, any plus price you got, give me the Mariners as my dog.
Okay. My lock is just going to be a low number. The 7 for the Blue Jays at the Rays, I just think it's too low. You said there's bigger numbers kicking around, but that 7 still exists. I can definitely see it. I think both offenses are going along well, and both pitchers have no real patterns to Bassett. And Glasnow's given up some runs lately. So I think we get over 7, especially, there's going to be no cheap at-bats here. There's going to be no selfish at-bats. These teams want to go and win this game. So I'll take the over 7. Now, dog, loads to choose from. Pittsburgh at 160, plus 160 at Cincinnati. I got the Angels at plus 235. Although, like I say, Mr. Donahue in the chat's told me out of that one. And I've got the one I'm going to go with is the D-backs at plus 136. If they score 2 runs, they win because the Yankees can't score more than 1. So, yeah, you're getting plus 136 about the D-backs to score 2 runs or more. I'll take the D-backs. Let's get that round robin on as well. Pittsburgh, Arizona, and the LA Angels in a mad round robin and make some money to get stuck into the NFL on Sunday with. And I think we've made it, Dylan. Anything you want to tell us about before we crack on?
No, should be a good Thursday night game between the Niners and the Giants. Any bets you got? How's the Premier League? Because Champions League fucking took massive hole in my pocket.
We did all right. The show, the Champions League show, did really well this week. Actually, we took to Arsenal on the first half handicap, was a nice 3-1 winner. So yeah, it did okay. Premier League this weekend, Nottingham Forest are 18-1 on the money line. Dylan, are you getting involved in that?
Oh fuck yeah! Of course I am. Does a bear shit in the woods? Come on, man.
Yeah, fill your boots on the 18-1. I haven't looked at my NFL plays yet. We had a Premier League. Newcastle are away at Sheffield United. We're in the late game on Sunday, so we should scrap an ugly kind of win there. Sheffield United aren't very good, but yeah. Go and listen to the Premier League shows. Lots of fun. Me and Barry go off on all kinds of tangents. Thank you, everyone in the chat. That was a lot of fun. Trev, Matthew, Donahue. Who else was in there? I might be in it tonight, but anyway, it was fun and it made me giggle a lot. Someone will be back tomorrow night with a little Friday Turbo show. Good luck with all your bets. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Dylan. That was tons of fun. Until then, we'll see you next time. Cheers.